knew that what's considered neurodivergent varies by culture because it's what the culture considers divergent from what it considers normal, but I did not know that there are some parts of the world where schizophrenia is considered a shaman-like gift. So I looked this up, and apparently there's some truth to this. This is a paper in the Journal of Culture, Medicine, and Psychiatry, and the abstract says, this paper presents evidence that some, but not all, religious experts in a particular faith may have a schizophrenia-like psychotic process which is managed or mitigated by their religious practice, and that they are able to function effectively and are not identified by their community as ill. So it looks like they did interviews in Ghana with local priests in the traditional religion there. They talked to them about how they hear God speak. Participants described quite varied personal experiences of the God's voice. Some reported voices which were auditory and more negative. Some seemed to describe trance-like states, some associated with trauma and violence. Some seemed to be described as sleep-related events, and some seemed to be interpreting ordinary inner speech. These differences in description were supported by the way participants responded to an auditory clip made to stimulate the voice-hearing experiences of psychosis, and which had been translated into the local language. It suggests that for some individuals, the apprenticeship-trained practice of talking with the gods in conjunction with a non-stigmatizing identity may shape the content and emotional tones of voices associated with the psychotic process. And I think this is really interesting because I know that some parts of the world don't have as many ADHD diagnoses, for example, because either the culture is very resistant to identifying it as an identity or as an issue. I hate to say issue, but they see it as an issue, and this is especially salient in extremely religious cultures because they're afraid of, taking medication. They don't want to be on drugs, or the idea of changing how God made you, which you can't cure someone of ADHD. So in some places it's more ADHD friendly, of that it's just not seen as a negative to be hyperactive. It can actually be seen as a desirable trait. Ultimately, this gets down to what I talk about at work all the time. There is no neutral professional culture because there is no neutral culture. Because here in the United States, schizophrenia is definitely stigmatized, but it's not stigmatized to pray, at least to a Christian God. Someone says they hear the voice of God. That is not interpreted the same way as if somebody hears actual voices in their head.